Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Laura, I'm a hairstylist, and today we're going to talk about bad habits that are fading your hair color. So I first want to point out that permanent hair color does not mean that the hair color is going to stay the same permanently. What permanent means is that it is permanently altering the chemical composition of your hair. So that means that your hair is never going to go back to your natural color because it's been permanently altered. So that being said, permanent hair color still does fade. Okay, so now let's get into what actually causes hair color to fade. So the first one is frequent shampooing. So anytime you shampoo your hair, it's going to fade a little bit. There's no way around that. When water hits your hair, it opens the cuticle or outer layer of your hair, and then you put the shampoo on, which then enters the cortex of your hair and pulls a little bit of color out each time you wash it. So even if you are using a Color Protect sulfate-free shampoo, it is still going to fade your color some. The only way around this is if you're using color depositing shampoos and conditioners. And this doesn't mean that it's not fading your hair color, but it's adding hair color pigment at the same time. Typically when you use color depositing shampoos and conditioners, it's not going to be the exact same color as when you colored your hair, but it can help you to maintain your color without it fading out completely. Okay, so number 2 is hot water and steam. So we talked about how water opens up the cuticle, but heat and steam opens it up even more. Think about giving yourself a facial. You typically either steam your face or wash your face in hot water to open the pores on your skin so that you can then exfoliate and remove the dirt and dead skin cells out of your pores. The same thing goes with your hair. The steam and the heat opens up the cuticle really wide so that it cleans everything out. For hair color, this isn't good. Even if you're just rinsing your hair in hot water and not shampooing it, the hot water is still gonna pull some of that color out. And I also wanna point out that even if you are rinsing your hair in cold water, if you're taking a hot shower and there's still steam in the room, that steam is still gonna open your cuticle even though you're rinsing your hair with cold water. Before color depositing shampoos and conditioners, I normally recommended for people that were concerned about their color fading to wash their hair separately in cold water before they take a shower, and then they can wrap their hair up and take a nice hot shower afterwards. But now that we have color depositing shampoos and conditioners, it's not always necessary to do that if you can maintain the color yourself at home. Okay, so number 3 is the sun and tanning beds. So if you've ever left a black shirt or piece of fabric out in the sun for too long, then you know that that can fade the dye in the fabric and turn it like a purplish color. Well, you guessed it, the same thing happens to the dye that's in our hair when it's in the sun for too long. It always hurts my heart when I go to the beach and I see beautiful, freshly done hair color getting exposed to the sun with nothing protecting it, and I know that by the end of the day that color is going to be way different. The best thing to do is to cover your hair up if you plan on being in the sun for long periods of time. Putting your hair in a braid can protect a lot of it, and then put a hat on to block out the rest. I always recommend to my clients to get their hair done after their vacation, not before, and this is why. Number 4 is chlorine and salt water. So chlorine is a form of bleach, so obviously we know that bleach removes hair color. So it just makes sense that chlorine is going to fade your hair color. And even if you go into a saltwater pool or the ocean, salt water still fades hair color as well. Salt is dehydrating, and salt water is also very abrasive. So this means that it can get in there and kind of scrub the hair color out. My best way around this is to douse your hair in conditioner and don't rinse it out if you know that you're going to be getting your hair wet. This way your hair has absorbed the conditioner and it's not going to absorb as much of the chlorine or salt water. Again, I recommend putting the conditioner in and braiding your hair. Keeping your hair in a braid will help a lot of that conditioner from rinsing out into the water. Okay, so next we have low quality and non-color safe hair products. So sulfates are the sudsy part of your shampoo. So keep in mind that if you use a sulfate-free shampoo, it's not likely going to suds up as much as a traditional shampoo would. It may feel like your hair is not getting cleaned as well, but trust me, it is. Just add a little bit more water to emulsify it better. And lower quality products contain a lot of additives that will fade your hair color much quicker than a higher grade professional brand would. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend $80 on a bottle of shampoo. My recommendation is to just do your research before buying a product and even ask your hairstylist what she suggests you use. And I will link my favorite Color Protect products below. Okay, so next is medicated shampoos. So medicated shampoos could be for a number of reasons. Conditions such as dandruff or hair loss or psoriasis could all be reasons to use a medicated shampoo. And medicated shampoos are serving their purpose. That being said, their purpose is not to preserve your hair color. When they're formulated, they're not formulated to preserve color. They're formulated to get the job done that they need to get done. Depending on what type of medicated shampoo you're using, you may be able to ask your doctor or dermatologist for a topical product instead of a shampoo. I have seen topical mousses that were prescribed for dandruff, and those don't fade the color quite as much as a medicated shampoo for dandruff would. Okay, so next is frequent use of heat tools. So as we talked about, heat can pull hair color out. So it only makes sense that ironing your hair often is going to fade your color quicker than if you weren't ironing your hair. I've seen people wind up with gunky brown stuff on their irons, and let me tell you that that is your hair color fading out. I recommend trying some heatless wave options or finding other hairstyles to where you're not having to iron your hair as frequently. Blow drying your hair is better than ironing it because it's indirect heat coming from hot air versus a hot plate that's directly touching your hair. When you do use heat tools, make sure you always use a thermal protectant every single time. And tailing off of that, number 8 is high temperatures with your irons. So there is a huge difference in using your iron on a low temperature versus using it turned all the way up. I don't recommend any hair type on earth using their iron all the way up. It's just not necessary. I've seen hair color fade out in one use visibly to the eye from using a high temperature. Play around with different heat temperatures and try to use it on the lowest setting possible. Okay, so the last one is that damaged hair does not hold on to hair color. So even if you're not doing any of the other things that were listed before, if your hair is damaged, the color is gonna fade right out. This is because when the hair is damaged, the cuticle is damaged or is missing. The cuticle is that outer layer that resembles fish scales that open and close. If that is damaged or missing, then the hair color can slip right out of the hair because there's nothing protecting it, holding it in. If you find yourself in this category, the best thing to do is get your hair healthy and in good condition. Use bonding treatments to strengthen the bonds in your hair, and then over time, it will get better and better. All right, guys, leave a comment below if you are guilty of any of these bad habits. And make sure you subscribe if you want to make every day a good hair day. Thanks for watching.